Steam is having a Cyberpunk Fest this week, celebrating some upcoming games, some free demos, and of course some sales, which that is what we're talking about today, because some of my favorite games are on sale this week, and we're going to talk about them, starting with Quasimorph. Quasimorph just hit 1.0 just a few days ago, and it is on sale for this whole deal. Quasimorph, if you haven't seen it before, I compared it to like a Stone Shard meets Doom. If you know what those games are, you know what you're getting into. This is a turn-based tactical roguelike set in space. You got yourself a spaceship, you go to different planets. You're like a mercenary company or mercenary clones, and you hack, you slash, you blast, and there's some demons involved as well. Fantastic game, just hit 1.0, and it is on sale right now for 33% off at $16.74. Up next, we have X4 Foundations. This game came out back in 2018, and this is one of the most vast open-world space sims that are out there. If you want to fly a spaceship around and you want to go explore space and do whatever you want, whether it be mining or commanding fleets or piloting ships around or anything you can think of in space, then this might be a thing for you. By Egosoft came out, again, back in 2018, but it is cheap right now. 80% off, puts it at $10. Cloudpunk. Cloudpunk is one of those games that when I sat down to make a video on this, I thought, okay, 30 minutes, and we'll move on to something else. I ended up playing the whole game. I think it was only like 8 or 9 hours worth of like story, but fantastic game where you're just like you're a delivery boy in a cyberpunk town, and as you're sort of going through the story and interacting with everything, walking around the town, the atmosphere just sucks you in, and I love this game. But it came back way back in 2020. Didn't feel like it was that long ago, but I guess it was, by Ion Lands, and it is 65% off right now at $7. If you're into like story-driven, atmospheric cyberpunk things, then you probably will enjoy this one. This sale or this event, this fest, is highlighting the upcoming Nivalis Nights, which I am really looking forward to, which is the sort of the life sim version of what Cloudpunk was. I've been looking forward to this thing for, it feels like 6 years, I guess. Next up, we got Caves of Cud. One of the, if not the, probably the best game on my list here. This is a traditional turn-based roguelike. And I don't really know how to describe this game, but I'll explain it with, like, you've played a traditional roguelike, and you start out with, you build your character, and you go out on a quest, you go kill some squirrels, or kill some rats in a dungeon somewhere, and then you go kill some skeletons, and you go back and get another quest, pick some plants, that kind of thing. But whether you play an hour or play a 20-hour game, it will not end like you imagine it. Every game is completely different. There's so much, procedural generation and sandboxiness, open worldness to this, that your character will change, the world will change. It is a very difficult game to describe, and it is incredible. But it came out in 2024 in full release after like 18 years of development or something like that. It's 20% off right now, puts it at $24. Ostranauts is another one of those that just hit 1.0, came on August 3rd here. And this may be a bit more of a highlight, but it is on sale. You are a shipbreaker. You're a fella on a space station. You have yourself a little tugboat, a tug ship, and you go out and you scrap ships. You take things apart, you rebuild, you build yourself a spaceship, and you go kind of live the life in this space sim sandbox. Very hard sci-fi, I suppose, space sandbox. By the way, Kit Fox is also having a publisher sale, which is why Ostranauts and Dwarf Fortress is on sale. There's a few good ones in there, but I'm just highlighting a few of these kind of cyberpunk themed ones. This one's by Blue Bottle Games, and Kit Fox, of course, publishing it. It is 20% off at $15.99. But if you haven't seen Ostranauts, it just hit 1.0, so maybe a good time to check it out. Cyberknight's Flashpoint is it's XCOM, Cyberpunk XCOM, basically. It's a squad-based, turn-based tactics by the Tracy Brothers. It came out back in 2025 in full release. And if you are into XCOM and you like cyberpunk stuff, then that's what this game is built for. It's built for you. Came out back full release in 2025, and it is at 34% off at $19.79. Technotopia. Let's get a little more puzzly, a little more casual today. This is a city builder card game. When I say city builder, it's more that kind of puzzly side where you put pieces of a town together, and it builds up bigger buildings, and you're kind of trying to please the different factions in the town in this deck building city builder by Eustace and Alawar. Came out in 2024. This one's very cheap. It's $1.49 right now, 70% off. Neongarten is that same kind of thing, same style as what Technotopia was, but this is a little more closer scale, smaller scale, where you're building individual buildings. Again, it's got that kind of Islanders, puzzly world builder type of thing in the cyberpunk style. Very much a very calm game. Dorfromantic is another example of one of these in that genre. By Moonroof Studios and Goblins, came out in 2025. But as you build your skyscraper of cyberpunkness, you get points, and you go to the next map and that kind of thing. This one came out in, again, 2025, and it is 50% off at $5. Song of Farca is a detective style of like a story-focused game. You are a detective. You're running around the town trying to figure out what's going on in this what they say Black Mirror-esque atmosphere, where you're trying to solve the puzzles, solve the crime, detective story kind of thing. Back in 2021, this one came out, and it is at 90% off, $2 for this one. If you're into detective stuff, this one seemed to go over pretty well. Arcseed, you are a big robot in a town. Aliens have arrived, aliens that look like big robots. So what do? Well, you get your own big robot, and you go destroy those robots. In this turn-based tactical with deck building elements, you're smashing towns around, you're smashing big buildings around and pushing them aside. You know, all the good things that robots do. 50% off, $7.50 for Arcseed. Disjunction is this like a real-time tactics, stealth tactics action game by Ape Tribe Games. Came out by 2021. We've done a few of these that are turn-based. We talked about them here. We'll have a few more later on. This is the real-time equivalent of that. As you sneak around, you hack, you slash, you pistol. In this gripping stealth action, they call it. But it's down here at 90% off for $1.59. It is dirt cheap. Shadows of Doubt, another private investigator game where you're in, they take that Cloudpunk kind of setting where you're in this cyberpunk city and you're trying to solve murders and you're detectiving around trying to figure things out. This one went over, I remember, really well back in 2024 when it came out. And it's different, but if you're into those kind of like investigation detective kind of games, immersive sims, then you'll probably enjoy this one quite a bit. And by Coal Power Games and Fireshine published it, and it is sitting at 60% off for just $10. Colony Ship, a post-Earth role-playing game, kind of tells you what it is right there. A party-based role-playing game in this sci-fi. It has kind of this Traveler-esque startup setting. If you know what Traveler is, Traveler RPG, then that should make sense to you. But it's a very good, like, detailed character building system, and you build your party. You go through this sort of series of CRPG style of turn-based tactics style of things. By Iron Tower Studio, came out in 2023. Came out 1.0 in 2023, and it is down here at 60% off, puts it at $16. And there's a demo for a couple of these. This is one of those that has one. Most of these sales go on until the 10th. There's a couple that go a little longer than that, but August 10th is where most of these end. We talked about building a city. We got another one. Dystopika is very laid back. It's just a sandbox of building a city. It's kind of one of those pretty, like, artsy games. It's like Paint, but fancy in this cyberpunk style. So if you want to make a cyberpunk town, there you go. That's what Dystopika is. And it came out in 2024. Overwhelmingly positive for the reviews at 50% off for $3.50. Make some pretty cool stuff with this one. Satellite Rain is another one of those real-time strategy games. You're in this open world cyberpunk city, as the theme implies. And in this strategy style thing, you take your team and you try to stealth your way through a city. Shooting, blasting, sneaking. All the good stuff. And it's $3 right now. 90% off. It is cheap. Came out in 2015. A little bit of an old one, but for $3. How can you resist? Shadowrun Returns is the next one on the list. Shadowrun is, you think Cyberpunk, you're probably thinking of Shadowrun. This came out way back in 2013 in this turn-based tactical RPG, classic CRPG, but a cyberpunk twist on it. I mentioned Traveler in the one before. Shadowrun is probably the other one that comes to mind when you think of this genre. But Shadowrun Returns, way back into, again, 2013, by Harebrained Schemes and Paradox. Only one DLC, by the way, but 75% off for this one for $374 for the Returns, and then Red Deluxe is 75% off at $624. Heroes in Science and Fiction it's basically Heroes of Might and Magic, but a sci-fi style one. Instead of dragons and orcs and goblins, you've got mechs and flying bugs and more mechs and big guns and lots of strange creatures. It does take a twist on all the different factions that are in the game. This one came out in 1.0 here earlier this year in March. And if you like Heroes of Might and Magic, but you wanted a sci-fi twist, that's exactly what this one is. By Oxymoron Games. And it is sitting at 60% off already for $12. Frozen Synapse came out back in 2011. This is a turn-based strategy game, which I have heard is fantastic multiplayer. I've only played single player on this one, but I hear multiplayer is where it's at. And I believe there's still like a community for this. A turn-based tactical strategy game. If you're into like the old-timey XCOM, then this one I think is probably more up your style. I say turn-based style. It's simultaneous turn-based strategy game, so that's where he adds the twist into this. But it's a lot of fun. Single player is a lot of fun. Again, I hear multiplayer is fantastic, but it is very cheap right now. 90% off, $2.49. It's an oldie, but apparently it's still a goodie. Tales of the Neon Sea is a story-rich point-and-click, kind of in this noir setting, but cyberpunk, and you're trying to figure out what's going on as far as like detective stuff and investigating, and again, point-and-click. Came out back in 2019 by Yeti Games and Thermite Games, and it is at 90% off. This one's cheap, $1.69 for this one. And almost the last one, we have Space Cat Tactics. You want a spaceship? You want turn-based tactics in space? You want to be able to walk around your spaceship and move your people around and command different things? And that's what Space Cat Tactics is, but they're all cats. This sounds like I'm being, trying to be funny here with this one, but this is actually a really fun game. You're a bunch of cat people, a cat spaceman, but you're managing your ship, and you can also go onto your ship and manage the different layers of the ship and fight back people boarding you and fly around in space. There's a lot here with this one. It's just got cats. It came out in 2023 by Mitzi Games, and it is at 75% off right now for $3.74. And I got one more for you. I couldn't do this without mentioning Cyberpunk 2077. It's Cyberpunk Fest, so of course this is on sale. This one came out in 2020, and as open world Cyberpunk RPG as you can get, it is at 70% off right now at $17.99. The Humble Bundle is having a big sale at the moment with one of the bundles, and that is the old-timey D&D. The D&D Classics collection is going on right now, and I want to make sure to mention that because it is a pretty good sale if you're into these old games. Then this, I want to make sure and point this one out because it is a pretty good deal. So anyway, there's a link for that, and you can check out the D&D Classic Collection. If you don't know what it is, don't worry about it. But if you do, then you'll probably be excited about this. There you go. There is your list of Cyberpunk deals for the Cyberpunk Fest here on Steam. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you next time.